welcome to Kankakee Podcast, where we talk about the people and places of Kankakee County. I'm Jake LaMore, and since joining Pathfinder in 2023, I've met a lot of interesting people and a lot of fascinating businesses here in Kankakee County, and one of them being Gracie Pie Apothecary. We are welcomed right now by Rachael Reynolds from Gracie Pie Apothecary. Welcome.
Hi, Jake.
It's so good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
A little behind the scenes story. This has been like several months in the making.
I know.
Because of just life and schedules. And originally, we were actually going to go on location to where you make your products, and we were going to get some behind the scenes footage and things like that. But unfortunately, the things just did not cross for now, and we'll get to that sometime in the future, though, because I think it would be really fun to like make some of your products with you, because I always know when. So another behind the scenes story is that Pathfinder does product photography for you, and that's one of the ways that we connected. And I always know when it's a Gracie Pie photo shoot day, because you can smell all the wonderful...
Seriously?
Yeah,
that's hysterical. I love it.
I can always smell it. I'm like, oh, it's a Gracie Pie day.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah,
yeah,
I always say we're the best smelling booth wherever we go.
It's true. And it just always smells so good. Actually, sometimes some of those soap bars you have or whatever, I'm always tempted to like take a bite into it, even though I know it's not edible. But it's sometimes it smells so good that I'm like, I just want to take a little nibble.
They don't taste good. I've had little kids do that, and yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. So anyway, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
And it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
So how did Gracie Pie start?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or maybe even going before that, just a background on you a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I graduated from DePaul University. I graduated with a degree in journalism. And
so this is very familiar to you then in some degree or another.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. So DePaul University, I grew up in the Joliet area, went to Minooka High School. And right out of college, I got a job with the Daily Journal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So was a journalist there for, at least about 21 years.
That's a long time.
So I started off as a general assignment reporter, and over the course of time became I guess you would call it the lifestyle editor is what it would be now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Lifestyle editor, and eventually moved my way up to assistant managing editor, one of the senior editors, had a managerial role in the newsroom, helped put out the front page of the paper as well as every other pretty much page that the paper did. And then my last job there was with the magazines, which was a lot of fun. That was kind of like my jam, I guess you would say.
Okay.
We did a men's magazine. We did a women's magazine. I loved it.
Yeah, there's been a lot of different magazines to come through the Daily Journal, and I feel like a lot of that has been forgotten about, or just kind of like just because there's been so many different, whether it's like a special magazine or it was just maybe it was published for maybe 5 years or something like that, and then it's gone. But there's just been so many cool things to come out of the journal besides the paper. Yeah,
I started the niche division, and those were the magazines that I debuted. And
that's so cool. I had no idea. Well, this is exciting.
Love it. Yeah. So I've held pretty much every position over there, and had a lot of great experience. So about 7 years ago, well, let me back up. So was doing that. I've always been the crafty type.
Sure.
So gosh, my house is full of color and shabby chic and trash to treasure. And I was never afraid to get into a dumpster to pull out an old piece of furniture in my high heels and bring it home on the weekends and reupholster
do something with it.
Yeah, do something with it. So I've always grown up that way. So one of the things that kind of came about, oddly enough, was this whole soap business. So crafty has kind of been in our blood. And when I had my daughter, Gracie, she picked up the same sort of thing. Craft Saturdays, craft Sundays, would go to my mom's house in Joliet, and they would do crafts. We always had crafts going on at the house, and of course that would get her little mind going.
Sure.
And as a child of the internet, she came across a YouTube video, What's Up Moms, I think it was called, and they were making soap. So this was probably end of December, 10 years ago, because we're celebrating 10 years in 2005.
Congratulations.
10 years in 2025. And thank you. So she said, Mommy, I want to learn how to make soap. So I'm like, okay, Christmas break, she's in my hair.
Yeah, right. You got to have something to do.
Something to do, right. Yeah. She was 9 at the time. So I went over to Hobby Lobby. And this is where kind of the soap business gets a little bit technical. They sell, I call it melt and pour. That's what it's kind of called in our industry.
Okay.
Essentially what it is, it's a pre-made brick of soap. You cut it up, stick it in the microwave, add some fragrance, and add your colors of choice. And it was really a mess. As you can imagine, with a 9-year-old.
Oh my gosh.
All over the kitchen.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, okay, so it kind of piqued my interest. So I went ahead and just started Googling how to make soap. So the real way to make soap is called saponification. It's kind of a fancy word.
And this is just we're not even talking when you're adding fragrance and stuff. No. This is just like the base.
The base. So I learned how to make the base of soap. Okay. Now, this is a process is literally thousands of years old. So the ancient Romans would take the tallow and the lard from the animals, and they would extract that and combine those fats and solids with an alkaline, and together, when you mix them together, you make soap, i.e. saponification. So the first time I did that, obviously it was extremely crude. Extremely crude. I made it in...
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. I made it in a little mold that I mitered myself out of wood, lined it with parchment paper, but took it out, cut it, and it lathered. And I was like, holy crap, this is pretty interesting.
Because is it supposed to lather?
Absolutely.
Like
it's supposed to lather.
Okay.
It's a chemical process, and it was pretty cool. I don't know why.
It's science.
It's science.
It really is.
It's interesting.
And a little bit of history, it sounds like.
It is. In fact, there's so many misconceptions about soap. Everybody uses it every day. But it's the only way to get a natural lather. And when I say the only way, I mean another nerdy word, cold process soap. So what I had been explaining about, the thousands of years old process, it's called cold process. So if you're shopping and you want some natural soap, cold process.
And is that it's cold process because you're not cooking anything? Necessarily? Is that why it's called cold?
You're technically cooking, and we can get into that.
Okay.
But it's just the cold process is the term for saponification and taking, your natural base raw materials and through that chemical process, turning it into real soap.
Okay.
You can make bars.
Yes.
Go to Walgreens, your Dove bar, your Irish Spring, whatever. People, tend to just refer to those as soap. But
So it's technically a bar of soap is technically not
a soap.
It's not a soap. Okay, wow, my mind is blown.
I know.
I didn't know that.
I know it gets a little technical. So the FDA actually regulates the word soap, as strange as that is. So
did not know that.
You can only put the word soap on cold process soaps.
So is that liquid then or no?
No, liquid soap is completely
different.
Artificial.
Okay. Well, wow. Man.
Completely artificial.
I feel like the title of this podcast should be Everything You Know About Soap is Not
It's
Accurate.
True. It's absolutely true. Actually, that's a great title for sure. So that's the reason why Dove calls it a beauty bar. Or Caress is a moisturizing bar. They can't put the word soap on it because soap is, it's chemical, it's technical. There's a lot of chemistry and science, but it's pretty simple. So anyhow, so to get back, so I made that loaf of soap, cut it, and it lathered. I was like, this is pretty cool. Learned a little bit more on how in depth and how creative you can get with that. And just kind of started, exploring with essential oils and colors and things like that. Started using it, and it was incredible on my skin. I mean, I was a Dove girl, and you don't realize until you start using natural handmade soaps how much better it is for your skin.
Sure.
And I was one of those people. Just my skin was always flaky and raw. I'm a bit of a germaphobe, so I'm always washing my hands.
Yes.
And I should have taken out stock in Vaseline because my whole body would be slathered with Vaseline day to night.
Well, instead of taking stock, you just made your own instead, right?
Just made my own. Mm-hmm.
So
what kind of happened from there is to do this cold process, you have to have a liquid in addition to your oils and your butters. Most people use water. You can use any liquid. I've made beer soap. I've made soap with wine. But what I discovered was the beauty of goat's milk. So I started reading about it, went over to the Kankakee Jewel, bought myself, a quart of goat's milk, and used that as my liquid. Whoa, did that take it to a next level. I mean, just complete next level. And so I started, making that, giving it to friends and family. They loved it. They noticed a difference and just like most entrepreneurs, they take a hobby and they turn it into a business. And before long, I was doing markets, before long after that, I was doing markets, within 2 years all over the Midwest. So Kankakee Farmers Market, of course, we've been there.
I assume that was your first.
It was my first, yeah. And the Kankakee community has been amazing. They've really supported me and my business post Daily Journal years.
Did you start this right after the Journal, or was this?
I had started it because I was let go along with in time. All of the senior editors were let go,
right?
As many in the community know.
Right. Yeah, I think it's pretty well known in the last, 20, well, maybe 25 years at least. There was always a wave of downsizing.
Yeah.
Yep. So
that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast, but just to abbreviate it.
Yes, exactly. So it was kind of my side hustle for the last 3 years of my career at the Journal. And it was great. I mean, I had a second income. We were able to do some really great things like travel, and it was great. So when I lost my job at the Daily Journal, that had been my identity. Obviously, having started there right out of college, I didn't know what to do, and was was pretty devastated. My mom was in Paris, and I called her. It was, I think, 10 o'clock in the morning here, and they were out.
Like Paris, France?
Paris, France.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's normal.
It's normal.
My mom was in Paris.
Yeah. I didn't know who else to call. Obviously, I'm so close to my mom.
Yeah.
Mom, they laid me off. I can't believe it. What am I supposed to do? I'm just, this is just absolutely devastating. And she's like, Rachel, take your soap business and go with it. I'm like, okay, sure. Let's give it a try. Let's see if this can, pay the bills. Let's see if this can keep me busy for just like a full-time job. And wow, did it. I think I was kind of at the cusp of this whole natural skincare industry that had kind of grown. And again, what my niche is in that whole skincare industry is the goat's milk. So I started sourcing my goat's milk from Kankakee County growers. Started off as a woman-owned business, woman-owned and operated, and still am 10 years later. So I sourced all of my milk from farms that were owned by women. And
how cool.
Yeah, kind of had a neat thing going there. So now I have women all over the Chicagoland area who I get my goat's milk from. And when I say get my goat's milk from, I mean thousands of gallons of goat's milk. Yeah. So I recently had to invest in a fourth freezer because obviously the goat's milk would go rancid.
Oh, sure.
So just through the saponification and of cold processed soap, you have to use it frozen anyhow.
Oh, so it works out.
Yeah. So I have 2 chest freezers and now 2 stand-up freezers, all full of goat's milk. So when they milk, I grab it.
Yeah, right.
I stock
up. You want to get it fresh. Yeah, and so I'm assuming that the reason goat's milk is so popular or so favored is it because of is it a moisturizing thing?
It is.
About the goat's milk? Do you know?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
You nailed it.
Yeah.
So most people will use water. It's 97 cents a gallon. I pay $10 to $12 a gallon for my goat's milk from women farmers. And that has gone up, obviously, with inflation. Yes. I mean, it just costs more to feed the goats and take care of them.
Everything trickles down.
Everything trickles down. Right. But yes, unlike water, I mean, goat's milk has so many vitamins and minerals and lactic acid, natural alpha hydroxys, natural anti-aging properties to it. But, think of goat's milk cheese. It's so rich. It's so creamy. It's an indulgence, and it's the same concept for your skin. If you want to take really good care of your skin, seek out products that are made with goat's milk. And I mean, obviously I'm biased. It's my company, but people use them. Like, just try it for the first time. People will look at people who understand natural skincare don't have any issue with the cost of it. But when you have used body wash filled with water and artificial ingredients your whole life, and I say, just try it once. They try it and they're amazed. I mean, it's like
they never go back.
They never go back. I mean, even if I had to close my business, I would still make goat's milk soap for myself.
Yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've branched off and started, we do sugar scrubs. We do mud masks. I do creams. I do lotions. We do some really nice anti-aging products. And again, it's all with the goat's milk. And so we do anywhere from 10 to 15 markets every weekend.
Oh my gosh.
Every weekend, yeah.
You have to have employees then to help you with 10 to 15 markets. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So Saturdays and Sundays, so a lot of them will, do 2 markets a weekend. Same with me. I mean, this time of year, usually from March through December 25th, I'm 7 days a week. But they love it, which is, it's just this whole entrepreneurial spirit is so amazing to me. And I'm so humbled by it. Never in my life did I ever think that I would be making something with my hands that would pay my mortgage.
Right.
I mean, I didn't know. I mean, when I worked for the Journal, everybody knows journalists don't get paid very well.
No,
they just don't.
Yes,
so I
can attest to that.
Yeah, exactly. So your bonus, your pay is in that byline when people call you up and say, Rachel, I read that article. It was just so great. And I really enjoy seeing your byline in the paper. So to go from that and writing and that type of creativity to this type of creativity is kind of mind-boggling to me. So in addition to having the goat's milk products, which is it's fairly rare because a lot of people don't have access to fresh goat's milk. And there's a huge difference between fresh and your powdered, which you would just mix with water. And the powdered's been processed down. And
which is probably what a lot of your big manufacturers are using, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of goat's milk products you see on the shelves at the big box stores and whatnot.
Exactly. It's coming out. People are beginning to not only use the natural products, but they're differentiating between those products and products made with the goat's milk. And I've been really blessed to be living in a farming community. And we have so many farmers in the collar counties of Chicago that, I'm always on the lookout. So if you know of any farmers, women farmers in the area, I'm telling you, I'm always looking for goat's milk. One of my freezers was completely full, beginning of October, and it's half gone now of the milk. So it's just, and of course this is our busy time, but yeah, we kind of fly through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I go off on these little tangents.
No, it's okay.
I don't even remember.
No, I'm just absorbing all of this and just really enjoying hearing everything you're saying. And I guess a question that comes to my mind then, getting back to what you were talking about in the beginning on what is soap or real soap, saying, a bar of soap is technically not soap. Liquid soap is not soap. So
body wash.
With that being said, I'm wondering if the hard soap and the liquid soap that just the general population is used to is not soap. What is the consistency of real soap then? That's what I want to know. Is it a liquid-based thing? Is it kind of like a thick cream or? It is.
So I brought some samples.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
You have a bathroom here. You have a sink.
This is true.
Go wash your hands, Jake. Yeah. Go wash your hands. So, So here's a couple samples of our goat's milk soaps. Okay. You can reach those. So those are two of our best
Stormy
sellers.
Waters.
Stormy Waters. And then the other one is black raspberry vanilla. Oof. Yeah. So
that smells so good.
It smells good, but it's creamy and rich on your skin. People look at it. It's got a nice grip.
But see, this is a bar.
It's a bar.
So I can say this is a bar of soap then, or no?
It's a real bar of soap. Okay. So what it kind of looks like, so I make them in molds.
Okay.
And I have scaled to where I can make a good 500 in about an hour. So we're up to where we're churning.
Oh, that smells so good.
So
too.
when you mix the ingredients with a stick blender, it kind of turns into pudding, so to speak.
Okay.
And then I add my colors and my fragrances. So we use a combination of essential oils and skin safe, phthalate-free fragrance oils. I'm a member.
Got shea butter and cocoa butter.
Shea butter, cocoa butter.
Gosh, this smells so good.
Yeah, it's so great. The colors we use, micas, so they are natural. We use charcoals. We use lots of different clays. So it's soft and soothing on your skin. The lather, people always wonder, does it lather?
Yes.
It's the creamiest lather. It's like whipped cream. I mean, it is just the creamiest lather you will ever find.
So it's not a typical lather like someone would be used.
They wouldn't be used to. You can almost feel it. Like when I have to, when I'm at a restaurant and I use the pump stuff, it's just so light and kind of airy. Same with our lotions. When you use them and compare the feeling of them, it's just there's not a lot of real density to it. There's not a lot of heft to it.
That must be going back to what you were saying about the water.
Yes, the water.
The water base and those
Go
products.
Look at your skincare, turn it over, and it's almost always the first ingredient.
If you're watching the video version of this is what I'm talking about. It's just so colorful.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like a piece of art. And this is the black raspberry vanilla. And yes, as you can imagine, it smells so good. And these little like sparkles in here, what is...
that's mica.
That's mica, okay.
Yeah, so you're not going to sparkle when you get out of the shower.
Okay.
Although if you want to, we do have a product for that too.
What if I want to sparkle?
Yeah, it's our 24 karat gold serum. But we put, I quickly learned how creative soap can be. Mm-hmm. There's different pores. There's different molds you can use. There's, different natural colorants that you can use. And it became a very creative outlet for me. As bizarre as that sounds.
No, it doesn't sound bizarre.
There's thousands of different colors of mica, just like, it's like a palette.
Right. And if you're watching the video version of this, or if you just want to like look up Gracie Pie Apothecary, you'll see, pictures of this stuff.
I mean, look at the swirls on that. It's really cool.
Yeah, the swirls, right. Bringing back to the black raspberry vanilla, the swirls on here.
And the colors. It's so pretty.
It's very cool.
It's such a cool bar of soap.
It is. So it's, I don't know, it's just funny, like saying that this is a bar of soap, and then what I thought was a bar of soap is not soap.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, we make showering interesting.
Yeah. And it feels, the texture of this feels very soft.
It is. You can just touch it and feel how nice
smooth.
It is.
Yes.
And how it's going to treat your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So the black raspberry vanilla, my assistant Ann King makes, because she helps
Ann.
me.
She works with you. Ann is wonderful.
She just, she's a baddie. So she, not only does she help me with Gracie Pie, I couldn't do it without her. She is the new CEO at Project Sun.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So she's got a lot on her plate. But
congratulations, Ann, if you're listening. I haven't seen her in years, but
she's just...
When I worked in radio, I would see her at least a few times a year. She'd come in for an interview for the suicide prevention walk. Mm-hmm. When she was chairing that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. She is the backbone of Gracie Pie Apothecary.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
She's just as creative and outstanding, and really just understands good manufacturing procedures, understands what needs to be done, keeping up with our load.
Yeah, because you're manufacturing this in your home.
Mm-hmm.
And where in your home? Is it your kitchen, your garage, your basement? It's all set up like a lab? Or
It is. So I have a laboratory, and it's just a sterile studio that I was really blessed to be able to build. It got to a point where my production just couldn't survive in the house anymore. I live down in Riverview, so I have this beautiful historic craftsman style home right around the corner from the Frank Lloyd Wright House, and the entire downstairs was taking up my business. And it just was like, this is not working anymore.
Yeah.
So we manufacture so much stuff. Once the finished the products are done, so our buckets of scrub and lotion and all that stuff, it gets shipped over to the Kankakee County Training Center for the disabled over in Bradley.
Oh, no way. And
Yes.
they are the ones that package it?
Yep, they put the lotions in the jars.
That's
they
so
pack
cool.
the scrubs. They wrap all of the...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They saved my business. So when I was just starting out, I would pay the neighborhood kids $0.25 each to wrap a bar of soap. And it got to the point where, no amount of money was going to keep them wrapping the soap.
Yeah.
So a mentor of mine, a wonderful woman named Suzette Cole, who I had worked with at the Daily Journal.
Her name sounds familiar.
Yeah. So she was very much into entrepreneurship and helping, get entrepreneurs off the ground. And it was my side hustle at the time. But she said she was on the board of KCTC, if I remember correctly. Okay. And she said, go over there and talk to Diana, who's the executive director.
Yes.
And
she's wonderful.
She's amazing. Love her to death. And they just took over, and it has just very quickly. They have launched me from a startup, a teeny tiny startup, to now we are Illinois' largest goat's milk skincare company.
Wow! So no kidding.
Yeah. Again, with that.
Well,
niche.
And that's so great because the Kankakee County Training Center. Mm-hmm. This is a great job for them.
They love it.
They need things to do.
They do so much. I don't know if you've ever done a podcast on them.
No, not yet.
You should. So, so they do. They have so many contracts, and it's just and they recently doubled their space.
Yes, I knew that.
Which is a great news hook. So they're doing so. I mean, they inspect car parts, and they're. They box things up. They do things for Flanders. They have a lot of national accounts over there as well. It would be interesting to go over there and just check them out and see how amazing they are. Yeah, they love having a job. They love getting their paychecks, and they're incredible people. And I could not do my business without KCTC.
Yeah, and it's just so cool to hear all the different lines that go from Gracie Pie and are going here and going there.
We're all over.
I had no idea, and it's really cool to hear that you've got the tie with KCTC.
It is amazing to me, our reach. I was up northern Wisconsin probably about a month ago for the Cranberry Festival in Eagle River. And I'm sitting there because my business philosophy is take the product out. I could very easily have a studio in downtown Naperville, but wow, would I... I'd be paying a lot for the mortgage or the rent and all that. Yeah. The space, it would be just crazy. So we do pop-ups, farmers markets, of course. So I had gone up there for this huge festival, brings in 75,000 people over the course of 3 days. And there's two ladies from Mantino.
Of course.
Hey, guys. What's going? They're like, hey, we're from Mantino. I'm like, are you serious? They're there picking up their Gracie Pie.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
you sell online a little bit though, right?
We do. So we also sell at Kankakee Natural Foods. They only stock the soap, and sometimes they sell out pretty quickly. So we try and keep them well stocked. But the best way to order is just at GraciePieApothecary.com, and I'm sure you'll have your link there.
Yes.
Free shipping over $50, and we'll get it to your door in just a few days. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is that there that you have on the table?
This this is our goat's milk body butter. Okay. And if you want to open that up and dab a little bit on your hands, a little bit goes a long way. You don't need a lot.
Cocoa butter cashmere.
That's another one of our fragrances that is a big seller. Yeah. A little dab on your hands, you'll feel immediately how silky it is, how soft it is. How creamy it is, and it doesn't have that greasy feeling.
No.
Yeah.
And it
smells good.
Gosh, that smells so good.
Yeah. Our fragrances are very high quality. So so I'm a member of the Illinois Fragrance Regulatory.
What's Bath and Body Works? I never heard of it.
No, jeez. Yeah, don't get me started. Here's the thing about Bath and Body Works. So many people love Bath and Body Works. And I ask people, where do you buy your soap? What kind of soap do you use?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like Bath and Body Works. And I'm like, oh, how do you like that? It dries my skin out. I'm like, well, then why do you buy it? Because it smells good. So
it does. I will give that to Bath and Body. The smell and the scent, it'll last forever.
Yeah.
And it never leaves you.
Yeah. And I mean, fragrance and scent, have such close meanings to people. I mean, we make a cherry almond bar, and it smells like grandma. that Jergens lotion.
Yeah.
I used to use the Jergens lotion. It reminds me of high school, reminds me of my grandma.
It's a nostalgia thing.
It is. It is. And fragrances are so personal to people.
Yes.
But at the same time, why are you using stuff that really makes your skin feel crepey and dry?
Well, it's because of the scent.
Because of the fragrance.
It's because of the fragrance.
So
that's what's keeping them in business, I guess.
Exactly. Exactly. So long list of unnecessary ingredients as well. So when I cut my soaps, we cut them in lobes with it's a soap cutter that it actually cuts the soap with a guitar string.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the guys over at King Music are always fixing our soap cutters and restringing the things.
Whoever thought you'd go to King, be like, hey, I need my soap cutter restrung.
I brought it in there one day and they looked at me like I was insane. I'm like, this is a soap cutter. What? So yeah, it's a soap cutter and
it plays E flat real well.
Yeah, exactly. So we cut them into the bars and we always have the ends. So a lot of times I will just give those to people. Just try it. Just give it a whirl. Go lather. When we are done, go take a bar of soap and go run it under the water and get yourself a nice lather. Then you can comment on that. You can message me and tell me how you like it.
I already like it. I just tried that butter and
the butter
it smells so good and it feels good too.
Yeah, exactly. So
start to finish, I guess. I feel like we kind of touched on some of it and you just talked about a piece of it, but from start to finish, how does the process work? I mean, how do you even come up with? Does it start with, okay, I need to come up with a soap that reminds me of rainfall or, a storm?
Yeah.
Or, where does are you the person that comes up with like the names and the concepts of these soaps? Or?
Yeah, Ann and I both do. Okay. But we do a lot of sniffing. Let's just say that.
And then, but after a while, your nose must get kind of fatigued. So how do you?
Yeah, and a lot of it's trial and error. What I think it might sell really well, people don't like. You've
had some really interesting combinations.
Yeah.
Because my cubicle here at Pathfinder is right next to Shea, our graphic designer, who's working on a lot of these labels.
Yeah.
And sometimes she will have the soap with her at the desk. And when I'll see, I remember seeing something that was like orange sickle or orange dreamsicle or something, or I don't know. There's the names and the combinations are always very interesting.
Yeah, they are. So we kind of trial and error, but then we have things that just like, are just winners, like the black raspberry vanilla. I see what sells. And I always start with the soap because the fragrances are very expensive. And the labels are vellum paper, so I don't have to purchase, spend $0.25 on all of the vinyl labels. So I always start with the soap. If the soap is a big seller, then we turn it into a sugar scrub or a body butter.
Yeah, because that's probably easy at that point. Once you get like the base of, okay, this soap, it's doing well, so let's make a scrub out of it.
Right.
Let's do this with it.
Right, yeah. But we also, I take a lot of cues from customers. So like recently I noticed that customers, really wanted a good face wash. And of course they're using the stuff in the plastic jars and all that sort of thing. And of course it's pumpkin spice season.
Yeah.
So I made a really lovely pumpkin facial bar and it has real pumpkin in it. So it has vitamins A, K. It's really good for blemishes. It's really good for anti-aging, anti-inflammatory properties to it. And then I added some lovely Brazilian clay to it, and it's just got this wonderful like lather. It'll cleanse your face. We've got some bentonite clay in there. It's just gently exfoliating, and those have been like flying off the shelves. And it was all because someone had asked, what's a really good facial wash. And we do have some specialty ones, like our tea tree is really good for teenagers who are breaking out. The lavender bar is really nice for as a face wash as well, but really good for eczema. All of our products are great.
I'm
for
sure
eczema,
lavender does pretty well because that seems to be an ever popular thing.
It is.
Lavender is.
It is.
Lavender has become kind of like pumpkin spice to where it's in everything now.
I know it is. It is. Yeah. And then of course we make the the hippie. It's called Dirty Hippie. And it is patchouli. And I made it because my mom is an old hippie and she loves patchouli.
What is patchouli?
It's an essential oil that I think smells like dirt.
Oh, that's lovely. No wonder why you thought of a hippie.
People absolutely love it. There's a certain segment of society that loves patchouli.
That does not sound...
It's not pleasant, I don't think. So I make Ann make that one. That's her bar because I can't stand the smell of it.
Do you also happen to have a soap that smells like fresh cut grass then too? Because that's also what comes to mind.
I've tried that fragrance.
Have you? Okay.
It's very fresh. I think it smells great. But
probably smells better than the actual fresh cut
It
grass.
smells just like it. It's a perfect dupe. But that didn't sell very well.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah. So this time of year,
maybe it would have sold. Maybe we should have gone to like a desert area where there's not as much grass.
Yeah,
and they would have appreciated it more.
Yeah, exactly.
Because here in the Midwest, we got all kinds of all kinds of grass to cut.
Exactly. So some new stuff coming out. The perennial peppermint, bark that's going to be coming out. The pine is going to be coming out.
Oh, yeah, that'll be a
the
nice
cranberries, that
all
sort of thing. All holiday themes. And it's nice to stock up on those because we don't usually carry those during, the regular seasons.
They're limited edition.
Limited edition. So, definitely hit us up on our Facebook page and our Instagram pages, which Pathfinder, of course, manages those.
Yes, we're happy to do it.
And you guys do an amazing job.
Well, thank you.
Just, social media is so important.
It's all Catherine. Shout out to Catherine.
I know. Catherine's awesome.
I don't know how she does all that she does.
I don't either. But her photography, she just makes our stuff look so professional and just very inviting and really, really nice professional stuff. So, you guys have been great.
Well, thank you. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. So we got all kinds of new stuff coming out. They make great gifts. Of course, we're going to the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's our busiest season. And hostess gifts, we've got products for kids. We make bath bombs. We have something for everybody. Yeah.
What are some frequently asked questions that you get about just skincare in general? I mean, it could be about your products too, but I'm sure you get a lot of skincare questions.
Yeah. The most frequently asked question is people will pick it up and ask how to use it. No kidding.
Well, I mean, it's just if you haven't visually seen what these bars of soap look like, it's a valid question.
It is.
Because I said, it's like a piece of art. So I would look at it too and be like,
what is this? How do you use it?
How do I use that? Yeah.
Well, it really says a lot about our society and our skincare. People don't use bar soap anymore. I mean, they're into the body washes, the squeezies.
And you don't necessarily do those.
No, because it's not natural. It's man-made.
Is there any
artificial?
Is there any natural way to make some of those things, or if you did, would it be too expensive?
Nope. Anything that. So here's the gist of it. Saponification is a 2,000 plus year old process of making soap. It is the only way to get a natural lather. The only way. If you're not using a bar of cold processed soap, it is artificial and it's not natural.
And that includes liquid soap.
Even like the Dove bars, those are not natural. It's formed into a bar, so people automatically equate it with soap.
Okay.
It's not. And
I did not know that.
It's pretty fascinating when you think about it.
I knew that, but I didn't realize that you couldn't take this product and make it into a liquid form and it would be just as good, but you can't. You're telling me
you could. I mean, there definitely is are ways that you can make more of a natural liquid pump soap, but this is where it gets very confusing for people. You would make a paste out of it, and then you would add your water and some other ingredients and make it foam. But again, I don't like to fill my stuff with water because I could make the goat's milk paste, but I'm just going to water it down because you can't put fresh goat's milk in a product like that because it's going to mix with the water and it's going to go rancid.
Right.
So yeah. So we stick with bar soap because it's just you get so much more of the goat's milk in it. There's about an ounce of goat's milk in every bar, so it's going to treat your skin really lovely. And we just want to get people back on the bar soap bandwagon, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I think you're doing a good job considering how good they smell, how good they look, and the names. I mean, it's all very good.
Thank you.
You're using those 20 plus years of journalism, I think, on these names and such.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Yeah, it's just a different type.
Marketing, journalism. Some of those are kind of a fine line.
Yeah, the creativity is kind of like crossed over into a new, different world. But it's a lot of fun. It gets kind of crazy this time of year, and I think the hardest part always has been for me is the business side of it. And Jesse here has been amazing. I think he probably comes across that all the time. It's like you start a business and you're doing the thing that you want to do and you're doing the thing that you love to do. And then you're hit with the bills and, the P&Ls and how to make a profit and just the numbers. And you just want to cry. Yeah.
I can attest to that.
I'm not a fan of doing that, but hopefully one day soon I can delegate that and, have someone do that for me so I can concentrate on, being a part of the business that is focused on super growth.
Yes.
Super growth.
Yes, so, absolutely. Yeah. I guess that's just a preface again that none of this is as easy as it sounds being an entrepreneur or starting your own business or taking your hobby and making it into a business. You said so many lovely things about it and that's all true. But like that right behind all of that is all of the blood, sweat, and tears and agony and joy and just every emotion you can think of, good and bad. Yeah. Just mash it all together.
Yep.
And that's Gracie Pie. That's whatever other business, local business, small business you can think of.
Yeah. So 2025 is our 10-year anniversary. I've got lots of plans on that. But I really need to just take it to like the next level. And I had a friend who gave me a book called The E-Myth. And one of the prefaces of that is to work on your business, not in your business. So just like when I was an editor, it was hard to delegate. But, I've learned to let go a little bit. And
it's so hard.
It's so hard because it's like it's your little baby and it's, and plus, the raw materials have gotten so expensive. I mean, our cocoa butter is twice the price now. It's insane. All the other olive oil has really gone up. We use that in so many products. Thing. Yeah, it's pretty insane. So, you kind of get to a point now with inflation to where if they were to mess something like that up, you're looking at thousands of dollars, down the drain. But you start small. You just take the formulas and you break them down into small little bits. And once you can get them, to perfect that, you can increase production with that. So I'm at that point where I can start concentrating on my business instead of in it.
Cool.
But I will always
That's
make
awesome.
soap.
Oh,
always,
sure.
Always.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. It'd be cool to do like a Kankakee Podcast soap.
We can do that. We can do
for
that.
The 10-year anniversary. That's exciting.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Or a giveaway or something.
We can do a limited edition.
Yeah.
Of that.
I'm not sure what that would smell like, but
you tell me what the podcast smells like, and I
the podcast smell like? Oh my, that would be interesting. I have no idea. I'm gonna have to really think on that one. Yeah. Or maybe think about, like what the Kankakee River smells like.
Oh boy.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but I'll put some thought into that. Rachel, this has been a lot of fun. Is there anything else that you want to add? Something that we missed? There's a lot of interesting things in your business. It's really cool, and I really appreciate your time because I know how valuable it is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I just, I'd like to thank my daughter Gracie. She's the one who I named the business after. She has learned so much about business.
Is she the one in college now?
She's in college.
Okay,
yeah. So she goes to ISU, and she's in marketing and business.
So she's already got quite an experience under her belt to help her through that degree.
She sells as much as I do, and we'll be putting out applications for next year in March. So awesome. I'm always hiring. I'm always looking for dynamic sellers and people who can talk and aren't afraid to get out in front of someone and really educate people on their skincare, because really that's the bottom line.
Yes,
is educating people on the things that are sold at the store and what we do and how we help people with their skin, because it's cliche, but it's your largest organ, so why not?
That's true.
Why not take care of it? And you feel so much better. You're not slathering lotion all over your body every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Or I know Vaseline.
Ever since you have been talking about this, I've just been thinking about every time after I take a shower and I use, shower gel, and I get out of the shower and I dry off, I feel my skin feels dry.
You need lotion,
and I need lotion.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
And I'm just thinking about that over and over in my head, and I'm like, man, I gotta try something else. Try this and see.
Yeah. It usually, when it comes to your skin, the first defense is always what you're using in the shower. And like I said, 99.9% of times, it's not going to be very good for your skin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because we sell so much of our body butters, and that's because people are a little nervous to use a bar of soap. They want something that's going to be in a squeezy or a body wash, and we just, as a society, that's what we use now.
Yes,
80 years ago, we didn't use squeezies, body washes, and things like that. We used real bars of soap.
Yeah.
And we've kind of gotten away from that. Give it a try, see how it feels on your skin. I don't even use my lotion. I don't need it. The bars of soap is enough for me.
Wow.
Yeah. Now come, end of December, January, February, when it's super dry and super windy and super cold outside. Yeah, I need my body butter to kind of quench my skin. But normally I just get out of the shower and my skin is hydrated enough from the soap. So yeah, give it a try, see how you like it. I think you'll love it.
Yeah, I think I will too. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rachel.
Yeah, thanks for having me and let me kind of explain the nerdy side of soap.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Like I said, it's like you took what I thought I knew and turned it upside down. I love that. So
yeah, who knew showering could be
who knew?
So interesting, right?
Who knew? Yeah, I just soap. Who knew it could be so fascinating?
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That concludes this episode of Kankakee Podcast. I'm Jake LaMore. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Kankakee Podcast. Shout out to Stephanie Vanderweide for supporting the show each month through Patreon. If you want your name announced on a future episode, you can sign up at patreon.com/Kankakee Podcast. Special thanks to our sponsors, Chicago Dough Company, Noble Dairy Queen Stores, Frank's Appliance Center and Sleep Source, Pigosh Engineering, King Music, Little Me Studio, Taco John's, D. Westfall Jewelers, and Edward Jones Financial Advisor Adam Elroy. Kankakee Podcast is produced by the fine team at Pathfinder, a full-service marketing agency in downtown Kankakee. Learn more at yourpathfinder.io. Our theme song is by Lupe Carroll.
This river